I'll admit, the thought of pimping Jesus didn't really sound appealing to me. So I had to find a way in order to reconcile with this mandate that was being placed on my life that I could get excited and feel warm and fuzzy over, because I knew if I could do that, then I'd be able to shake the planet. You're listening to the Move to Millions podcast with Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon, the place to be for high-level conversations about all things millions. Your mission, mindset, methodologies, mandate, movement, messaging, marketing, metrics, and most definitely your money. I am your host, spiritual business growth coach, Dr. Darnyelle J. Harmon. Join me each week for inspiring stories, powerful interviews, and business growth strategy to help you experience abundance in your life because of your business. If you're ready to move to your next level everything, let's get this party started. This episode is powered by The Secret to Seven, my brand new masterclass happening Thursday, October the 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4.2% of small businesses in the United States make seven figures a year. 2.35% of service-based businesses in the United States make seven figures a year. 1.9% of women-owned businesses in the United States make seven figures in a year. 0.9% of Black-owned businesses make seven figures in a year, and 0.5% of Black women-owned businesses make seven figures in a year. Clearly, with over 33 million businesses in the United States, there is a secret to seven. I'm inviting you to join me for a free masterclass. I will share with you exactly what the secrets are and how you can turn these secrets into opportunities to scale and sustain your company. Go and grab your seat right now at movetomillionsmasterclass.com. I am so excited to be back with you for another episode here on the Move to Millions podcast. I'm excited because I'm going to share one of my biggest confessions with you. I have been holding this to my vest for a couple of years now, and I've talked about it a little, but I haven't really put it out there as widely as I need to, but that stops today. Over the past week, I have been on rest and relaxation after spending 12 days in Atlanta. Some of you know the story. I talked about it in our last episode, the power of proximity. And this time resting, a lot of things have really come into my recollection and my remembrance. And I decided that I wasn't going to keep it to myself. It started out as a journal entry, and it took me back to October of 2021, when God first placed in my spirit these four words: God, girl, making millions. Now, to a lot of people, this is probably an oxymoron, right? Depending upon how you were raised, what religious affiliation or denomination you're a part of, the thought of being a girl who loves God that is also making millions of dollars, it might rub you the wrong way. Listen, it used to rub me the wrong way, and these are my confessions. I remember when I was first told that I was a prophet for profit, a PROPHET for PROFIT. And I'll be honest, I didn't want to do it. It seemed to me somehow like I might be trying to pimp Jesus. And I didn't want to be one of those people who was out there riding the coattails of Jesus in the name of growing a business, because I just didn't feel good, right? I can remember being in church, and the last time I was in church where it really rubbed me the wrong way and made my skin crawl is I'm sitting in the pew and I'm watching the man of God at the front of the church chide and guilt the other pew members into making a tithe or a donation, right? And pimping Jesus, right? Hitting us with I believe that the Spirit is saying that right now there's 100 people in here with $20, and not being willing to move on in the service until that happened. And so when I received those words and was told that that's what I was and that's who I was going to be, it didn't feel warm and fuzzy, because I didn't want any kind of connotation that would lead anyone to believe that I was trying to pimp Jesus. So I squashed it down, and I hoped that I would never hear it again. The very first time I was told that I was a prophet for profit was about 5 years ago. And I've always known that there is a call on my life for money. I know that the things that I've experienced around money, I've experienced those things because the only way that I'm going to be the Moses that I was created to be and to lead people to the promised land of understanding finances and money and access to wealth and abundance is if I had experienced it first. Being 16 years old when my dad stole $7,500 from me, being 21 years old, graduating from college with no student loan debt but $40,000 in credit card, being 32 and having $250,000 in credit card debt, being 35 where I finally got the courage to file bankruptcy, and being 37 when I had $1 million company and was burgeoning as a millionaire, by 40, a bona fide full throttle multimillionaire. And I know that everything that I experienced, from the ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly for 18 solid months to wondering if I was ever going to quote unquote make it, all came because I needed to experience the best and the worst of having access to money in order to be able to guide and lead other people. And so I'm sitting there. I was actually at an event, sitting in the back of the room, and I heard in my spirit the words, God, girl, making millions. And I wrote them down and I sat there. And I had two feelings happening at the same time, since these are my confessions. On the one hand, I was excited. I was elated. I had chills all over my body. And the chills are already always a signification that God is present and that something big is about to happen. And at the same time, I was fighting the urge to throw up, because the thought of the oxymoron that was sitting before me, it made me extremely uncomfortable. And so I did the only thing that I knew to do at that point in time is I prayed on it. I literally got my journal, and I like to actively journal. At least that's what I call it. And here's what I mean. I will write the question down that I'm asking of God, and I will sit until an answer comes, until something rises up in me, clear words, and that quiet time and that still small voice that tells me that whatever it is that I'm thinking, that the answer is not only present, but the answer is going to give me what I need in that particular moment. And so I sat there and I waited. After I wrote down, what is a God girl that is making millions? I literally wrote that down, and I sat and I sat and I sat, and all around me, things are happening. Someone's on the stage speaking at the event. The people on either side of me are in an activity because the speaker said, turn to your neighbor and discuss this. And I sat paralyzed. I couldn't move because I felt like I needed the answer. I needed to understand what these 4 words meant and what kind of a difference they would make in my life. Now, let me just talk really quickly about where we were in 2021. So it was October of 2020 that God gave me Move to Millions. Actually, let's go back even further. It was September of 2019 when God gave me Next Level Everything. It was October of 2020 when God gave me Move to Millions. And here we are the following October, and God is giving me God Girls Making Millions. And I'm perplexed because I didn't even know if I fully lived out Next Level Everything. And we were only just now starting to focus on Move to Millions. We were undergoing our rebrand. We hadn't even announced it to the world yet. And God was giving me another mandate, and I wasn't quite sure what I should do with it. When we come back from the break, I'm going to continue through this confession and tell you exactly what I did with what I learned and what it has become today. We'll be right back. Is checking your profit and loss statement and realizing that you've made $1 million in cash or more in your business in 1 year your wildest dream? I've got just the book you need to give you a step-by-step framework to bring your dream to life and to position you to sustain it for years to come. Move to Millions, the book will take you from straddling the 6-figure plateau to making, moving, and leaving millions, even if you have no idea where to start or how simple it can be. You can start your journey on the Move to Millions today by ordering your copy at movetomillionsbook.com. As soon as you place your order, supporter, you will join our Move to Millions book squad and get access to exclusive bonuses that include getting to read the book now before your copy arrives once the book release. Go now to movetomillionsbook.com and join our book squad by getting your copy today. You're listening to the Move to Millions podcast. I am your host, Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon, and today I'm making a confession. I really just got the release to really share into the backstory of this whole God Girls Making Millions thing, because like I said, we were just before the break, we had only just started living out Move to Millions. And here I was being given another mandate. And what I recognized is I sat there, pen to paper, waiting for God to speak, waiting for God to clarify what I was supposed to do with this God Girls Making Millions thing. Everything you can think of flashed through my mind. Again, I'm in a space where I'm not by myself. I'm watching life happen around me, and I'm waiting for the Lord to speak. And eventually he spoke. And clear as day, what God said was that, yes, you are on a mission to help entrepreneurs and small business owners make the move to millions, to change the statistics. And especially, I want you to carve out something for my God girls. I want my God girls to know that I created them to experience abundance in every way, and that they don't have to settle and they don't have to choose, that they really can have it all. And so as I sat there writing what I was hearing God speak, of course, you know, the next question that popped into my mind is, what in the devil is a God girl? Maybe not exactly like that, but that was the gist of it. And then immediately after, well, maybe not immediately, within a day or so, I had a conversation with one of my good friends. Anytime I get a word from the Lord, probably the first human outside of sitting in conversation with God that I go to really just kind of bounce it off to see what happens and how it feels. And immediately upon speaking those 4 words, God Girls Making Millions, the way her excitement erupted into the phone, I immediately knew that I was onto something and that this was exactly what I was supposed to be doing. And so, of course, you know, the next question is, well, what in the world is a God girl? How can I define this in such a way that as we begin to put this out into the world, the God girls will rise up? Because what I'd started to see as I was sitting there with pen and paper and vision casting, operating from my vision point and not my vantage point, what I saw as the first thing was an opportunity to create an event. Y'all know I love events that would allow me to bring God girls together. God girls who were, by all accounts, extremely successful in their business. God girls that didn't want to continue to compromise their faith, right? I don't know if you've been feeling it, but there's been this entire movement of watching more and more successful women integrate their faith into their business. Now, I remember for me, it happened back in 2013. You guys, if you're an OG listener, you know the story. In case you don't, let me just tell it really quickly. I was at a live event at the time. That event we were hosting those years was Unleash Your Incredible Factor. It was 2013. We were in Reston, Virginia, I believe. 78 people had registered for that event. I woke up that morning with an unction in my spirit to go down to the meeting room and pray over the seats. That is actually what started me praying over every seat. I now anoint the room in preparation for a live event experience. And as I was down there praying, the doors flung open and in walks a woman who registered for the event the day before. And she had a word from the Lord for me. And that word was, if you take a bold stand for him, he will make it easy for you. Now, I've always been a God girl. Probably wouldn't have said I was a God girl before God gave me God Girls Making Millions, but I've always been a God girl. Who Jesus is and was to me was never in question, but it was very separate from the way that I showed up in my work. And I think, especially coming into entrepreneurship and deciding to go full throttle, this was a thing, because I can remember back in 2009 when I was doing my very first ever event on the heels of sending my pink Cadillac back to Mary Kay Cosmetics and holding my very first prayer breakfast. And the event planner that I hired at the time, basically berating me because I wanted scriptures and God fully present in everything that I was doing. She was like, oh, I think you're going to offend people. And I remember going into prayer and contemplation and hearing the Spirit tell me at that time that what people were ready, they weren't ready to see me, but they needed to experience me. And so I was to lose all of the God speak, but I was to create an environment that would make the people feel the peace that surpasses all understanding. And I'll admit, I probably went a little too far to the left, because at that point in time, I removed God from everything. I mean, it was my private practice, but it wasn't out in my business until 2013, where I woke up so heavy in the spirit, knowing that I needed to make an adjustment and feeling the unction that right then, right there at that live event in 2013, that was the time and that was the place. And so when she came in and told me that by taking a bold stand for God, he would make it easy, it was exactly the green light that I needed. And we finished out that event, really making the people feel seen and heard and safe in the presence of the Holy Spirit. And we went on the next year, 2014, as you know, again, if you're an OG listener, that was the year we crossed the $1 million mark for the very first time in 3 short days. And it was the easiest it had ever been with no additional marketing. We went from 78 people in that room to 265 people in the room. And the only thing we did is we changed the description of Unleash Your Incredible Factor to be a spiritual alignment incubator for business owners. That was it. Making it known that we were going to put God on Front Street. And that was when we got the phrase that we still live into today, business church. Our event had become business church. Like literally, there were people who were slain in the spirit at that event. Like I remember, y'all, it's like an out of body experience as I recount it now. I remember being on stage at my business event, 250 plus people, all up praising. The shout music is on. Don't ask me how we had shout music. Now, this is back in the day. This is 2014. We didn't even have a DJ like we have now at our live events. So someone on the iPod, if you remember those, found shout music, and we had shout music playing throughout the event. And people have fallen out in the spirit at my business event. And Unleash Your Incredible Factor was a marketing and sales conference by every stretch of the imagination. And so I said all of that to say I've always been a God girl, but it wasn't until 2013, 2014 that I really converged my faith with my business and entered into the marketplace, which today is pretty commonplace. So many people are now, there's been this resurgence of women successful in business recounting and bringing their faith to the forefront. It makes me so excited to see it, because we need so many more voices that are willing to champion who God is and the importance that he plays in business. And so this isn't new, but when God gave me God Girls Making Millions and said, I want you to create a safe space where women who love me, that are bosses in their own right, that are making amazing money, but they need a safe space to continue to deepen their connection and alignment to me and to walk even further into the wealth that I have for them. They need to understand legacy, and not just recipe passing down legacy, but financial legacy. And they need to be in a place where it is normal and common to talk about money in a way that doesn't make them greedy, extremely greedy, avarice, which 1 Timothy 6:10 talks about, but it actually makes them warriors and champions for me. And so I did it. I answered the call, and I created what is now our mastermind retreat, our luxury retreat, God Girls Making Millions. We have our next one happening November the 29th through December 1st in Miami. It is going to be amazing. We had our first one last year, y'all. I wasn't ready. I handled the mandate, and I listened to God when he said, create the event for my God girls. And I did. And the women who answered the call and came in the room, they blew my mind. And so these confessions are also an opportunity for me to make a clarion call to the God girls that are out there that listen to the Move to Millions podcast on a regular basis. I am talking to you, and I want to invite you to apply. Now, because of the event and the importance of the event and to protect the integrity of it, we do require an application. And the experience is like nothing you probably have experienced before. I wanted to create God Girls Making Millions to be the room for the woman who is already at the $1 million mark or fast approaching the $1 million mark. Because what I have found, and I've been to a lot of events, y'all, that most of the events that happen out there are happening to get people to six figures. They're not for those of us who have already crossed 7 and are looking for ways to continue to deepen our community and to create a way for us to continue to build wealth and to create an established financial legacy. And so that's what I created God Girls to be. And so I was having a conversation with a colleague who was excited about God Girls Making Millions, which again is happening November the 29th through December 1st. 2023 in Miami. This event will happen every November somewhere. If you happen to listen to this episode at another point in time, you can always go to godgirlsmakingmillions.com to find out the next time that the event is happening. And she was really excited about it. Her only pause was whether or not she was actually a God girl. So part of my confession is to define for you what I mean when I say God girl, because I would want to make sure that if this is something you feel called to, you could see yourself as a person that could be in the room. And so we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back from the break, I am going to define for you what I mean when I say God girl. And I'm going to give you a distinct opportunity to apply to join us at our next God Girls Making Millions. We keep this event intimate on purpose because we want to make sure that we can build some quality connections, collaborations, and have high-end conversations that are going to continue to allow us to step bolder and more deeply into the shift that God has had us on since we decided that we wanted to have businesses that serve us financially and spiritually. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. I know you love the Move to Millions podcast. I know you can't wait every single week for me to drop a new episode. You know what that tells me? It tells me that you're also going to love my brand new book, Move to Millions, the proven framework to become a $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind. Listen to me. Everything you need to know to make millions of dollars without losing your shirt, your sanity, or anything that's important to you in the process is in this powerful book. It takes what you are experiencing each week on the podcast to the absolute next level. Go now to movetomillionsbook.com to grab your copy. Welcome back to the Move to Millions podcast. I am making a confession. Cue Usher. These are my confessions. Listen, I am so excited to be really getting this off my chest. As I was laying around this weekend, just getting so much rest, y'all. I worked 12 days straight. I'm not really proud to say that I worked 12 days straight, but that's kind of what happened. Almost the entire time I was in Atlanta, I was serving a client in some way. I'm so grateful to have some amazing clients to be able to support. So this last week, being off and catching up on my rest and doing almost absolutely nothing was amazing. And so when I felt this come into my spirit to share this with you in this podcast episode, I got really excited because you probably, like me, would consider yourself to be a God girl. And so I want to take a few moments and I just want to define what I mean, what I believe God meant when he gave me God Girls Making Millions in 2021. So a God girl has a personal relationship with her creator, God, the one true and living God, the creator of the abundant universe in which we live. That's a God girl. Now, she may or may not be religious. In fact, she doesn't even have to be. And I would prefer it, honestly, because this isn't about religion. It's about relationship. It's about connection. It's about relating to God in such a way that you allow him to be a part of everything that it is that you do. A God girl is a surrendered vessel, living the divine mandate that she knows that God gave her. And she's living that mandate every day in every way. A God girl feels a presence that is greater than herself, that guides her into operating in excellence and in integrity. In every way, she operates in integrity, even when it hurts, even when it doesn't make sense. She is honoring her word because it isn't about her. It's about the God that she represents. She's committed to learning and living the principles that God created to expand abundance for her and for those who come into connection with her. She operates absolutely in integrity. She has a mission to impact the lives of others, and she shows up fully to that mission every single day. She cares about others as much as she cares about herself. She believes in the importance of self-care, and she won't apologize for it either. See, God girls are not so about other people that they neglect themselves in the process, because you can't be used by God if you're ran down. And she understands that. She is loving of herself first and foremost. She is an example of what it is to be cared for and what she expects and how she expects to be treated by others. She's a leader. She loves community. She rallies around other people and is constantly edifying and lifting them up. She is, make no mistake about it, a woman who is about her business. She knows business and she's unapologetic about her business. She is focused on living into the significance of who she is in this season of her life. She's completely unapologetic. She's bold and she's confident. She is honest with herself and honest with others, regardless of how they may perceive her honesty. She's always honest. She's focused on being the best version of herself and doing work and being surrounded by people who call her higher. She absolutely operates from her vision point and not her vantage point. She understands the significance and the role that her spirituality plays in her ability to grow her business, to be the best version of herself as a friend, a sister, a wife if she's a wife, a mother if she's a mother, a bestie. In every way, she honors the call on her life and she won't back down from it. So I want you to ask yourself, because when I got this definition, I literally, same process, sat with my journal and I asked the question, what is a God girl? And these were the words that came pouring in to me as I asked that question. I had to put myself up against this and make sure, first and foremost, that even though I was given a mandate, that it was a mandate that I can serve. I hope you guys know about me. I don't do anything in theory and I don't do anything outside of integrity. Like, being integrous is very important to me. And so what I thought about this definition, and I look at my life and I look at the way that I show up every single day, I could unapologetically say I'm a God girl. And I got so excited about bringing other God girls together. And so if you are listening to this and you deem yourself to be a God girl based on the description that you just heard me share with you, then I want to invite you to apply to join us at God Girls Making Millions. Now, I want to be fully transparent and honest with you and tell you that God Girls Making Millions is not for every God girl that's out there. We are looking specifically to bring together a group of women business owners that have achieved a certain level of success. Women that are on the move to millions. So your business has to do at least $250,000 a year in order to get into the room at God Girls Making Millions. If you're doing $250,000 a year, then I invite you to apply. And let me just tell you, already in the room, we only have 30 seats. And already in the room, we've got 9-figure business owners that are going to be there. 9-figure, that's 100 million plus businesses. We have 8-figure business owners that are going to be in the room. We have 7-figure business owners that are going to be in the room. And we have high 6-figure business owners that are going to be in the room. This is the room that you want to enter if you are, and you have been looking for community, the conversations, the collaborations, the celebration, and the connections that you have been craving. This is the place for you. This is an intimate, safe, and aligned space for women entrepreneurs to have those high-level conversations that their next level demands over 2.5 life-changing days. I am so excited for this luxurious, intimate, transformational experience for women business owners that are ready to deepen the shift that they've been on since making the decision to get everything that God promised them in their life and their business. This experience will gather amazing women leaders from around the world together in a way to shake the planet together. Last year, my mind was completely blown. I wasn't ready. I knew that I had outgrown the other rooms that I used to frequent to get inspiration. I knew it. I knew I needed a new room. And so when I had the opportunity to create that new room, man, did it feel good to have these women come together for more meaning, more alignment, more impact, deeper connections, more freedom, more expression, more self-care, and more insight into how to shift their lives so that they experience less flex and more flow. And I'm waiting for you to join us, God Girl. I'm waiting for you to come and hang out with us because it is your time and it is your turn. And so I'm so excited to make this confession and to share with you that God Girls Making Millions happening November the 29th through December the 1st in Miami, Florida, has a few more seats left for the God Girl who is ready to experience an accelerated mastermind experience that will prepare you for the best year of your life and your business. You'll deepen your connection to God. You'll refine your mission and your vision. You'll tighten your network, and you will sit in the significance of the woman leader you were created to be. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for us to be back in that room. And it's a high-end experience. What we have planned for you, yeah, this just isn't happening anywhere. So I'm so excited. Over 3 days, we're going to think millions, we're going to live millions, and we're going to multiply our millions. We're going to have the conversations that you can't have anywhere else because you're going to be surrounded by people that are on your level. Oh, I can't wait for you to join me. It's been an amazing journey to put my faith and my business together and to watch so many God girls rise up and make the move to millions and to build businesses that will leave wealth and abundance for generations to come, that'll break generational curses and shift generational trajectories, all because this is what God has for us in this season. So while I might have been a little nervous about it at first, while the thought of being a prophet for profit used to make me uncomfortable, I tell you that today, it is no longer an issue. I walk boldly into the call of my life. I am excited to be leading a movement of entrepreneurs and small business owners who are destined for millions, because if you did not come from millions, millions should come from you. And I'm getting some God girls who are ready to be making more millions together. And I invite you to join us. You can go to godgirlsmakingmillions.com/APP to apply today to join us for God Girls Making Millions. I'll see you guys in Miami, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you for joining me for the Move to Millions podcast. If this episode has impacted you in any way, would you please take a moment and rate and review? Doing so helps us to deepen our impact and expand our reach around the world. And if you are ready to start your very own Move to Millions, I highly recommend that you order your very own copy of my brand new best-selling book, Move to Millions, the proven framework to become a $1 million CEO with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind. You can get your copy and our bonuses today at movetomillionsbook.com. Until next time, remember, millions are your birthright, and to access them, you need only move. I'll see you next time.